The southern suburbs of Beirut shook under the weight of Israeli airstrikes. Plumes of smoke filled the sky. This was not a surgical strike, this was a bombardment. Buildings, some housing Hezbollah infrastructure, others just homes, crumbled under the force. The air was thick with the smell of concrete dust and fear. The Israelis claimed they warned civilians. They said they were targeting Hezbollah. But in a place as densely populated as Dahiya, the lines are always blurred. The Israeli army had issued forced evacuation orders. They targeted 11 buildings in Dahiya, a Hezbollah stronghold. The message was clear, leave or become collateral damage. This was not the first time this neighborhood had been caught in the crosshairs, but each strike felt like a reopening of old wounds, a fresh wave of trauma washing over a community scarred by years of conflict. Imran Khan, a local journalist, walked through the deserted streets of Dahiya. Days ago, these streets were teeming with life, the sounds of children playing, vendors hawking their wares. Now, an eerie silence hung in the air, broken only by the distant rumble of fighter jets. The evacuation orders had been heeded. The streets were empty, a ghost town caught in the throes of a conflict not of its own making. He passed a small sandwich shop, its windows blown out, the cheerful yellow paint now marred by shrapnel scars. It was a stark reminder of the randomness of war, of how quickly life could change. He thought of the shop owner, his dreams now lying in ruins alongside his livelihood. How many times could a community rebuild before it shattered completely?
The Akkar district, nestled in the northern plains of Lebanon, had always been a place of refuge. Far from the political turmoil of Beirut, it was a place where farmers tended their land and children played freely. But on this day, the war came to Akkar. An Israeli airstrike hit a residential building, a brutal first for this peaceful corner of Lebanon.
16 people were dead, including 4 Syrian refugees seeking safety from a different war. This was not a Hezbollah stronghold. This was not a military target. This was a massacre. The shock was palpable, etched on the faces of the rescue workers who pulled bodies from the rubble, on the faces of the families who had lost everything. The highway linking Beirut to the Bekaa Valley, a lifeline for trade and travel, was eerily quiet. Gone were the usual streams of cars and trucks, replaced by an unsettling emptiness. The fear was palpable, a heavy blanket smothering the once vibrant landscape. Even in broad daylight, people were afraid to move. The drone of Israeli jets was a constant reminder that nowhere was safe. Children, their eyes wide with terror, clung to their mothers. The sounds of explosions, once distant rumbles, were now close enough to shake the ground beneath their feet. The psychological toll of this conflict, the unseen wounds of trauma and fear, ran deep. How do you rebuild a childhood shattered by the constant threat of violence? The answer, like the future of Lebanon, remains shrouded in uncertainty.